going on, guys? Marvin and
Colin
here with our 2022 MK8 Golf R. It's been a little over a year, a little over 10,000 miles, and we're gonna give our review of what we think of the car.
Yep.
It's pretty much gonna be nitty gritty. We're not gonna hold back or pull any punches. So it's gonna be a really good look deep down of how the car's doing and kind of what we've done to it. Colin, 10,000 miles, how's it been?
So the car overall is great. You know, I know a lot of people initially had issues with their cars, but I do think it's a great car. It's a good platform. Maintenance-wise, not a ton of issues. We've just kept up with our regular oil changes. Obviously, we've changed out a lot of parts, and we've lowered it, added the intakes and exhaust, tune. It makes it way more fun to drive, way faster, better in the corners. It's got sway bars, so it corners tighter. So overall, fantastic car. I love it a lot.
First off, it was very polarizing for a lot of people. I know for me, when I first saw it, I was like, ugh. After spending some time with this car, it's pretty great, I'm not gonna lie. I still prefer the Mark 7, 7.5. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I still prefer the Mark 6. I definitely do not think this is the best iteration of the Golf R that's come out, being a little biased there, but it is a fantastic option.
So for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, the Mark 8 has the E8 888.4, also known as the E8 888 Evo. It's the 4th edition of this motor. 315 horsepower, 310 foot-pounds of torque. It has that get up and go. All-wheel drive, has a limited slip. The thing is set up to perform. It's a great car from what I experienced. What do you think of the drivability of this car?
Ironically, aside from those random errors, which we'll talk about in a little bit, that error there is our fault directly. The car overall drives fantastic. One of the best things about this car, in my opinion, coming from an older vehicle, is that it's got adaptive cruise control and lane assist, which on the road trips is very nice. Obviously, we have a mount and an exhaust in here, so it adds to a little bit of cabin noise. But even in stock form, the car rode great, felt great, responds really well. Again, aside from the random issues here or there, like you heard the ding pop up, that specific ding that just showed up was a suspension error, and that's just due to our coilovers having a cancellation kit on them. One of the biggest issues I have drivability-wise with this car is utilizing the touchscreen. It's not as bad as everybody made it out to be during all the initial online reviews and stuff like that. And again, after living with it for 13 months on and off, a little over 12,000 miles on it, you get used to it. The biggest issue with it, and Marvin, you've experienced this, is that you have to take your eyes off the road to really control this very well. Whereas in older cars, older generation platforms, you had dials, knobs, you could just reach down and crank them one way or another and go from there.
The GTI, the Golf R, they've been known for being a great platform for people who are enthusiasts. How would you say the moddability is on this?
Compared to those other cars, it's the same. It's fantastic. The aftermarket support is great. Tons of new products coming out for it. It is a new platform and a new engine. So it does take a little while for new products to trickle out. We've seen that with some companies, some tuning companies as an example, not releasing products right away versus a company like UroTuning who's gone full send with intakes, exhaust, downpipe, software, that kind of thing. So fantastic moddability, and there's even more to come. I'm really excited for the future of this car and this platform, especially once ethanol and things like that start becoming a little more commonplace. It'll be a lot of fun.
So what do you feel about the user interface?
So as I mentioned earlier, it has its quirks. Is it my favorite point of the car? No, it's actually probably my least favorite point of the car, which is unfortunate because it's something you interact with often. However, it is nice to have all the information that it can present to you. So it's great for Apple CarPlay, for example, or Android Auto. Fantastic use for that. The heads-up display is not something we use. It's personally just not a feature that I really care for. I think it gets a little bit in the way. As far as the dashboard itself goes, digital dashes are always great. You can present a bunch of extra information. So on our left side, what I have set up right now, for example, is all of our temperatures for each of the sensors that the car can read. So we have transmission, coolant, oil. On the right side, I have our average gas mileage since start currently. There's our speedometer in the middle, tachometer on top. My biggest gripe lies here with this setup. I don't like the tactile buttons very much, or they're not tactile, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The responsive buttons that emulate a button. Not the best feeling, doesn't feel like a real button, and I would prefer a hard button because you get better feedback from that. Also, it doesn't rely on like a little motor to pulse at you, which to me just kind of seems like a wear item over time. It does take a while to start up. That's a big issue I have with it, is every time you get in the car, you have to wait for it to like boot up and get itself going. That's one of the nice things about the Mark 6, for example. When I get in that car and it's hot out because we live in Florida, I can just crank the AC immediately. Not the case in this vehicle. You have to wait for the head unit to warm up, then you have to bring up the climate section, and then you have to be able to control the AC and stuff like that from there, and it's not conducive to being a safe driver. There's an R button on the steering wheel that lets you fast switch between all the driving modes that would otherwise be locked behind here. But if you want to swap between different ones without having to constantly click the button and look down in here, you still have to click the mode button, then select which option you want, and kind of cycle through from there. Overall, again, I think it's probably one of the weakest points of the car. It's not something I love. I like physical gauges. I like needles. It just looks cooler to me. This is okay. I love having CarPlay. That's a big plus for me. I don't think I'll ever have a car without CarPlay. That is one of the big pros of this car. It's got wireless CarPlay, so you don't have to plug your phone in. It just connects. So that's a plus. It's definitely something that, you know, brings the score up a little bit. But yeah, not the best.
How would you say reliability is on here?
So aside from the couple of big Mark 8 issues that a lot of people are experiencing, overall, fantastic car. We've kept up with our regular maintenance, which for a brand new car like this is really just oil changes, and have not had a ton of issues. Most of the issues we've had have been self-induced because of mods. As an example, our cancellation kit needing to be replaced, or the dog bone mount that we were testing for a while, that led to a lot of drivability issues because it was way too intense. Self-inflicted, not the car's fault. That was our own choice. We put that on. So overall, great car, really reliable. It's something that hit the start button and just take off and not have to worry about anything.
Okay. Now, you mentioned some warranty problems that we had. You want to go into some detail on that?
Right. So the Mark 8, when it launched, just like with any new car, had its issues. The big three off the top of my head that I know of were the radiator issue that people were experiencing, engine cover recall that everybody had to do technically, and then the most current issue is the steering wheel problem that we are having, where the steering wheel is triggering travel assist errors and driver assist errors. Thankfully, we did not experience the radiator issue, mostly because almost as soon as we got our car, we put an intercooler on it, and that requires taking all of that stuff off and then reinstalling it, which would fix the radiator issue that people were having. So we never went through that ourselves. But the engine cover recall we did. Now we've got an Even Cherry engine cover on there. And the steering wheel warranty problem we are just now starting to address, because we have made an appointment with Volkswagen to try and get this replaced. So that's something we can't do ourselves. We have to go through the warranty process for. And the steering wheels, just like everything else, are super backordered. So here we are. So that covers the drivability portion.
Yeah, definitely.
Reliability, all that kind of fun stuff.
So now to get to the fun part, one of my favorite parts, what have we done with our build? As you remember before, we had a lot going on when we had our debut video. We had, lowering springs, exhaust,
Rotoform
SGNs. That's pretty much it. A lot has happened since then, as you can tell.
Yep.
Tunes have come out. We're running a new intake. We're running all sorts of new stuff. So Colin, you want to go into some detail on some of the stuff we did change?
Yeah. So the big obvious one is out wrapped now. You can't get it in silver. So we do have the Havsy wrap on it, done by Candy Wraps in Orlando. She helped us execute this. So designed in-house, then applied out there. Fantastic job. This is what we wanted, 3/4 wrap. Around the car, we have swapped from Maxxon Design to Flow Design, front lip, splitter, and rear diffuser, just because we wanted to try something new. The Maxxon pieces were great. These are also great. We worked with Flow Design to help launch these, and they are fantastic. On the exterior of the car, we swapped to Koenig countergrams in a 19 by 8.5. We talked about those in our unboxing video. Fantastic wheels. They're on Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's, which is like, the best, one of the best driving wheels you can get.
Definitely.
It's still lowered on KW V2 coilovers. We didn't want to swap those out. They do fantastic. As you mentioned, we have a new intake on. We are also running the Even Cherry carbon fiber engine cover, the new speed strut brace across the engine bay. Things, again, we covered in our update video. We have front and rear sway bars with adjustable end links now. We're still rocking the Miltech exhaust, valved exhaust, and we're rocking a P3 gauge. thanks to the guys at P3. Fantastic dudes over there. Love you, Jake.
Shout out to Jake.
Shout out to Jake and Matt. Can't forget Matt.
Can't forget Matt.
We're rocking a Unitronic Stage 2 tune and a TCU tune as well. So this is the latest and greatest that they got, putting out, it's like 450 horsepower. Thing's a rocket, especially with the DSG.
Oh yeah.
It just sends it. 4 seconds. 4 seconds.
Nice.
On our 0 to 60 timer. I have installed 2 new things recently. In fact, it's probably one of my favorite things I've done, was install these genuine, clear European tail lights. These new IQ lights that are only available in Europe. We imported them, got a connector harness and wired them all up, ran them, and they look fantastic. Obviously, they're clear now. They're not red like factory. One of my favorite features about these new tail lights is they say IQ light in them, which is just a nice little detail.
Yeah.
They work fantastic. They're sequential, super bright. And again, they match the flow of the car really well. One other very tiny small thing that we did that most of you can probably see is we installed a Velsport rear wiper delete because that looks way better than what it did before. So
Yeah, it does look really clean and it looks OEM. And remember, you guys can get all of this and more from us at UroTuning.com. We have exhaust, we have taillights, wiper deletes, all of that fun stuff. The only thing you can't get
the wrap
is the wrap.
Can't do the wrap, sorry. Hit up Candy Wraps in Orlando. She did a great job.
Exactly.
So we obviously like our Golf R a lot, and we're happy to start seeing them more and more as they are becoming available. That was one of the biggest issues when this car released, is that it was really difficult to get one.
Yeah.
Shady dealerships are charging high markups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we didn't have to deal with that. We got kind of lucky, but is being remedied more. There's a special edition out now, and Marvin's got a little more information on that.
Yeah, now one of the new options is the 20th anniversary edition of the Golf R. The one in the US isn't as spicy and nice as the one overseas.
Shocker.
Yeah, we didn't get the power bump like they did, but we got some visual cues. So on the 20th anniversary, they have the black wheels, which are stock. They also get a bunch of special badging. On the B-pillar, it'll say 20th anniversary. Some nice puddle lights that say 20th anniversary. The black and the white get lapis blue mirror caps, while the blue gets the black mirror caps. That and the badging is actually different. All around, it's blue instead of the chrome. It's a really cool looking car. It'll look even better though once you start modifying it like we did ours.
Yep.
So that pretty much sums up our Mark 8 Golf R. If you were to give it a rating, 1 being worst, 10 being best, where do you put it?
Personally, 8.5. It's a really good car. It's got its small issues. Almost all new cars have their issues. It's fantastic, great gas mileage, good power, lots of space. Looks great once you modify it. It's one of the most supported chassis in the car industry. So, it's a great car.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'd have to give it an 8. I think it's really good.
Is that fun, giving it an 8?
Yeah, pretty much. Like you said, the drivability, it's fun. It's definitely converted me over from my initial thoughts. So remember, if you like this video, go ahead and like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you have any questions, feel free to hit us up in the comments below. That next video might be something that you asked for.
Yeah, this is UroTuning, by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. We'll see you later.
Take it easy. You want to see more about Project Golf R? Go ahead and click that next video.